Hey guys, JT here, and today we are meeting someone. We are meeting, at long last, the Slishy Slasher, Dr. Slishy Slasher. Now, I think I've figured this whole audio thing out, but just in case, I will have the transcript up here for you guys to follow along. But here goes nothing.
Take my hand and follow me. I know a place where you'll be free. World of shelter, friendly charms, home of kindness, not so far. No more sunken, tarry tears. Your hopeless eyes shall be wiped clear. Every worry brushed away in this place where you will stay until you feel whole again, until you have someone you can call a friend. Wool and paper, felt and yarn, harmony achieved when harm undone. World of dreams which speak to you, realm of the beloved, stars and blue. Ah, what a miraculous marvel I adore. Never expected to see you at my door. Have you been safe? Have you been well? Has the world been kind and not a spell? 2 years have passed and yours, not mine. As for me, oh, where goes the time? The stars in blue, decades of new, friends, community, the tattered sewn through. Surviving for 2 years, though, what an achievement. What a wonder. As long as you're still living, life's not squandered. But why, oh, why am I speaking in rhyme? Habits formed from my lover half, yellow snouted thing with blue cloche hat. I believe I hear her on the horizon, beckoning sunlight into the quilted sky of stitch and seam. Always a wonder, always breathtaking. My friends begin their morning routines, and in the air there is a song we created together. Can you hear it? That song we sang together on the night I destroyed that false mother, that abstract mother. The music that lulled me into sweet dreams and runs through this world as its own special energy. But to dwell on the nature of nature and the ground and the sky is redundant, not why I'm here. Though my reason is not an unkind one, a serious reason, but not a worrying one. An intent that is to be heavily regarded, but not with fear. It is love of which I speak, as I tend to speak of most things. What a mess that slasher has made of things. I am sure she cares in her own twisted way about the well-being of this child. Yet in her typical manner, she has only changed the hue of his nightmare, rather than its values or opacity. A cold shell of a woman with no feeling or care for what her child does, whether he leaves or stays, lives or dies, does or not. That is no mother for a child to have. No mother for anyone to have. Ultimately, a selfish decision, capable of kindness though she may be. I'm aware I remain quiet compared to the others gathered here, but I suppose that could simply be from my nature. The nature of the stars in blue, a place that has been made very much real and tangible and glows and emits light from its many, many celestial constellations. Was it real before? Was it real after? Was it born from Jane's words to paper, or did it precede this? Written from some energy channeled into her thoughts about a place that somewhere was real and not imagined? If you asked the slasher, she'd say it was born from Jane's thoughts, a place she resents and sees as gated to her alone. A simple imaginary construct, nothing more than a dream. If you asked the children who fell here, they'd tell you it's very much real, always has been. A gift from the sky for those who fall beneath the ground. Something that humans with special inclinations and sight happen to write or create art about. A world that cares about children. What a dreamful place it is indeed. None of those children ever remember this place, sadly, a necessity of childhood and growing up. Sometimes you forget the people who cared about you and made life bearable during that tumultuous period. They always remember the feeling of it, however. A comforting hand on their shoulder, someone telling them not to be afraid. The idea that during that time there was someone who genuinely cared about them and looked out for their well-being. It would be a lie to say I do not feel bittersweet every time a visitor must leave this place. Yet, I am always so proud of them. Proud of you. Proud of Jane. Jane. Much in the same way I found false comfort in the want, she has seemingly found it in the blue-gloved hands of water-eaten people. A tragedy in all forms, yet not hopeless. Never let your imagination consign her to that place forever. It could very well be a temporary stage. A place where she might eventually realize that the cost of surviving is too great if paid in such a way. Jane is a survivor. I'm sure that in time, the stars and the blue will show her a better, brighter way. But I am besides the point. I felt it necessary to intervene on this young boy's behalf. Take him away from this awful place. Give him some time to think and figure himself out without worrying about worrisome things like survival, rent, foster care, and the like. Have I mentioned how proud of you I am? The red heart within this chest wells with pride, seeing what you have made of yourselves in the 2 years since we last met. Wherever life may carry us after this moment, whatever winding red threads might try to confuse and disorient you, through cities, broken books, malignant pages, suffocating sickly green hues of a mismade deep blue, crumbling factories, abandoned radio rooms, baseball fields, puppet shows, animation studios, and art galleries. Throughout all those things, I will gaze upon you with kinder eyes, the kindest eyes imaginable. Eyes so kind they illuminate the pitch-starry sky, to reach you, to tell you that I am proud of you. The stars that shimmer amongst the blue, my stars and blue. Safe travels, my friends. Although we must now part ways, the stars and blue it shall stay, in your heart and in your dreams, forever there for when you need. A place to retreat or a place to cry, Gloved hands will wipe your tired eyes. Someone out there cares for you. A kind doctor dwelling in the stars and blue.
I needed that after this emotional trip, Dr. Slishy Slasher. I really did. So, alright, I bet you're wondering, where's this hidden page? Where's Miss Slasher's heart? Well, according to the doc, the order that we go into is Art College, Gallery, Suburbia, and Sadie. So we have Suburbia up. We have this. Let me see if I could do this without getting the answer. So we're at the college. I think one of these things has the thing we're looking for. The what's it called? All right, let's see. Does this guy have it? No. Somewhere in here, I know it had the directions of the commute. Directions. Sorry guys. Let's see. I think it was this guy. Yep, here we go. NE. Okay, so that's there. And then say the art museum. Want to say this would have it. Maybe here. I'm just looking. I'm just looking for some directions. Take me to the place where I need to go. Uh, Maybe right here. Try and pendog team. Try not to be a cheater. Yeah, I kind of cheated to some extent looking at the doc, but jeez. Yeah, I can't find it in this area. All right, and then Sadie's thing. So, and then we're looking for it would be pendog.org slash NEESE NEESES WBWWNW. Oh, thank goodness. I was afraid I would get jump scared by the jump scared. But first, I want you guys to hear this.
Is a natural state, and the world will always have consequences.
Pretty creepy, right? Oh, just as granite, sulfur, dirt, and sand are finite deteriorating structures, so too is the rest of the world, and with it, the human is finite as well. From the moment you are born, your biological clock starts ticking down, DNA uncoiling further with each consecutive year. However, to assume that is a yearly occurrence is foolish because it is in fact occurring every day, minute, and second in which you dwell on this earth. Okay, you're getting a little too deep for me, Miss Slasher. Every animal, and although many would prefer to think otherwise, a human is an animal that indeed needs community, camaraderie, and love, is meant to die from the point at which life starts. If everything one's life begins to end the moment in which they exit the womb, disconnected from their already dying mother and introduced to already dying relatives, friends, peers, teachers, humanity, they will all expire and perish. Such as the human withers away, such as the sand and dirt erodes and tumbles off into the pitch black dark. Relationships, friendships, love, it too is an infinite concept that cannot last forever. It cannot spew death, and it cannot tremble over the many human failings. And in the case of those haunted by the dreadful blue preacher demon, your relationships are already dead from the moment they start. From the first hello, from the first interaction, from the first smile, laugh, kindness, gift, conversation. Adoration, feeling of belonging, camaraderie, and such is already dead. Is already dying from first glance. It just doesn't. You do not realize it is already dead, and that you are already dead because how could you even move past something like this? It's impossible to keep going further because this is the lowest you've ever been. And like a miner with the black lung, you are already dead from the first cough. You just don't know it yet. The relationship is rotted from the moment you touch it. Because as much as others might try to reassure you, there is fundamentally something different about you that hurts others and yourself and ensures you cannot ever truly have the kind of lasting relationships which the human animal needs to thrive and needs to live or breathe or function at all. You might improve yourself, might assure yourself that the time in which you've slipped up have been accounted for and discussed, and that there are no hard feelings, but you can never know the true scale of hurt you've caused or the lingering resentment or the traded gossip whispers between those you seem to think you'll be friends with forever. You will never grow a garden. A community is not yours to flower, and the soil of your body, words, personhood is all deeply poisoned by your very sick mind. There is just something deeply wrong with you, with us who are affected by the blue Petrature's demon, the blood people dicer, the red ribbon ripper. You will make friends, you will hurt them, they will leave, and then you'll die once more. You'll die 100 times trembling over each new relationship like a body impaled on a churning bed of knives. For Pete's sakes, you're crying out loud, Miss Slasher. There's only so much negativity I can take, alright? Have you not put me through the gauntlet from the start of this gosh darn thing? And I even want to know what Miss Hecate's got in store for us. But Penny, Red Thread is fun. Yeah, I burned all your friends and stuff, man, but like, come on. Alright, alright. Back to Miss Slasher. Just know if you cry out, it is a sign of manipulation. The tears of someone harboring the blue preacher demon can never be cried in earnest, but as deeply manipulated and swaying appeals to the extreme evil ideas desired by this world, the awful discomfort, the appeal to compassion. To make anyone feel this way with your tears is the sign of a true monster, a true killer, a true slasher. If someone tells you goodbye forever and forgets your face and forgets everything you were, you ever were, and you cry. That is awful and vile, something only a killer would do. If someone is angry or upset that you cut them off, then in the words of those pioneering a new country of self care and individualism, they were toxic and never cared about you at all. What a weirdo. What a freak. What a scary person. Chop, chop, chop. Cut them out of your life. I wish I could kill them all. Second, seconds, days, words, years, months, conversations had into late of night, and laughter breaking the shroud of dawn. Books shared, books shared ideas, exchanging thoughts, reunited on hours, days, seconds, and years. Heavy conversations and comforting words, thoughts, minutes, twilight, talk, post, shared receipts and tested music, shared identity, shared over hours, seconds, years, months, weeks. Parts of you given away would be natural for a relationship to take parts of you. But as mentioned before, the only parts you have to give is presence. Your entire body, mind, eyes, words, thoughts, hearts, personhood is rotted by a vile and manipulative slasher. Jane had promised Penny they would go to the Winfield Library one day when she escaped her mother's abstract house. Penny had promised to show her how to style her hair. Jane had promised to take Penny canoeing, and Penny had promised that life wouldn't be this way. Was more than the same lunch, same breakfast, same dinner, same workday, same repetitive failure, same broken relationship, same great and terrible blue sadness that soaked Jane's bones and skin and nails and hair and eyes her entire life. Jane had laughed. They traded art accessories and talked about parents and dancing, singing cartoon dogs and lightning bugs, Melly Moonbeam and Maisie Mutt mentioned. They'd promised that each second, day, minute, hour, year would not be the same. And they even discussed moving in and sharing an apartment together. They talked about books they liked and songs they hated. They thought that every hour, day, second, relationship, year could not be the same. And then they parted, and none of that would now even matter. You see, the thing about best friends is that it is a curse for those soaked in the rain of the blue pitch or demon. Perfect ritual of people's feelings to ensure that if you call someone your best friend, they will vanish from your life. You never be heard again. Watch them walk off into the fog and claim they never saw you and claim you never were a friend. Reading too into it, caring too much about it. In this new world of relationships, everything falls apart so easily. Trips to parks cut to ribbons with the happy memories of promises to make it through this as friends and see life to the end together. Tattered spinets of once strong bonds mixing with torn up signs and stormy cries of eyes knowing they'll never see above the water again. How could you ever expect something so flimsy as a word, as a relationship, to survive something like a slasher? I can fix this. I can fix this if I hold on, Jane must have thought, panicking and grasping at people, pulling their threads and snapping them and tearing everything she could apart. She must have thought she could cling on to someone, hold on to anyone, fix this, fix that, repair this, mend those hours, seconds, days, years threatened to be nothing if she did not address the fault. But the fault was not something outside, but within. And for all her knowledge and all her genuine love for the world and its people, Jane could not reach inside and fix the fault because it spun down into her nervous system, her bones, her marrow, her arteries, the veins, a million different fault lines converging to make the thing that that called itself Jane Perel. Spinning lines on a CD mailed to Jane by Penny that reminded her of a rolling rink she made a friend at when she was feeling lost and confused and her identity was being made anew, gone. Books inspired by theories with which the two agreed and in which they saw some way to save themselves from the reality that bit and clawed them, gone. Cartoon dogs and movies watched online through miniature screens of which both laughed and found odd comfort in the presence of each other gone. Clothing compared and pointed at what at with the thought that one day they would buy them and show each other something so abstract as style gone. Everything they talked about, doing, or shared in common or felt common in every moment their friendship had felt like something special, something wonderful gone, and now associated with each other. And now it is with this in mind we can know why the site could never be normal and could never be free from the things that battered and bruised its digital sides, because the site was built on the buried ground of relationships so cherished and so carried from but so casually now how to connect with each other or work things out and stay friends despite the grievances it was made with. The beginning hope and the ending cry of someone who would never be able to look at the sight again without being reminded of the awful memories what was said and what would never be finished or completed or accomplished or met or made right. Never said again would there be something special or something wonderful between these two. Instead, it would be taken and twisted with the yearning for better times that never were, the latching feeling of a worm clinging to what came before. Come on, sight. I'm trying to get to. Never hope to replace Jane. Could never hope to replace Penny. Could never hope to replace their friendship, because despite the tired burning ties that connected them and the gospel words of Sabaroots, never let it be satirized with no friends or no cling of their friendships and die. Trying to see what's. Hold on. Yeah, you're in the way a little bit, Miss Slasher. I remember a day in which Jane visited a park as a teenager, having run away from her home with plans of taking her own life. She'd spent time watching the trees moving and imagined shapes within them. People of a world she never know, sharing a community she would never be a part of. But for a moment she had felt something like peace, something like a wonder if she would ever be brought into those swaying communities and crowds of people, or even if there might be individuals in those shapes she would end up cherishing and being cherished by forever. Rays of dusty sunlight stroking her hair, dirt holding steady beneath her very uneasy and weakened legs, wind caressing her tear streaked face and telling her that if she ended her life now, she wouldn't know the end, wouldn't even see it through. That there was a world of people she hadn't met yet. She'd gone home, existing in the world for a pained yet passive period until she'd met someone who managed to connect with the heart hidden in the thorny tangle of Jane's mind. Each time Jane would feel warmth and cherish with the kindness of others, thanking her younger self for not ending their life because if she had this new relationship would have been formed. Each time Jane would stare over the ruined remains of a relationship she loved so much, had given up so much of herself for, and curse her name, curse her younger self for not killing themselves and allowing the path to such pain to occur. She never wanted to know the depths to which her mind would sink, you see. She thought she'd found the bottom of the well of dismay and misery, only for each relationship, each best friend to unlock another sub level on their way out of her life. Deeper, further, more pitch and tarry black than ever before. A choking haze of thoughtless heartache clouding judgment, joy, hope, making her cry out while she cowered in her bed in her small room, feeling her mind shut down, one neuron at a time. She might not have been dying physically yet. Her mind was dimming like a nearly burnt out bulb, And much like the wire within a light bulb, the brain is in fact an object, capable of being damaged, destroyed, being into the point of non function, fractured like bones, and thoughts s- spread like marrow. The world felt so dim, the way animals conceal themselves in forgotten corners at the end of their life. The human animal may do the same. No more will to keep pushing past the many failures of their function. Eating seems pointless. Time is always ticking away, feeding on their life like a destined parasite. They might listen to some songs that make them remember better times, expose themselves to objects which trigger memories of people who used to care about them. They might refuse to move, refuse to think, refuse to form thoughts which would wouldn't lead to their starvation anyway. They might clutch to memories like a teddy bear, hoping for some final comfort as their mind untangles and takes itself offline. Emotions rain down on them. How could there ever be any way to pull out one's self out of this, with the knowledge that every relationship is destined to end, is destined to fracture your heart further? All the hatred, anger, rage, resentment rains down on you, remembering the friendship which will never be had again. All the melancholy, sadness, hurt, confusion chills you through, remembering the friendship which will never be bad again. All the joy, sentiment, hope, goodwill, thought, brief, illuminates the pitch tarry black which holds you, remembering the friendship which will never be had again. There will never be anything special or anything tender or anything comforting to or anything sentimental again. There will never be something kind or something magical or something wonderful or something cared about again. Never again will there be someone through about or some thought about or someone worried about or someone seeing things through to the end with ever again. There will be no more laughter, no more trade tears, no more words about you, but those spoken through judgmental sneers to others which you'll think about but never actually hear. Nothing sweet, nothing shared, nothing exchanged, nothing cherished, nothing valued, nothing treasured, nothing treated as human. No more life, no more magic, no more special, no more wonderful, no more. Not even the dignity of being talked to like someone that Penny knew when Jane was cut away. Something clinical. Words ran through group chats of proofreaders, detached and inhuman. No more special, no more wonderful, no more kindness, no more magic, no more. Others might look at all this anguish, all this dismay, all this human emotion expressed in natural ways from a human animal that cries out when they feel bad. And those people might sneer, call it manipulative, call it an insincere trick from a sick mind that needs to be medicated and studied and locked up within institutions they view as legitimate as opposed to consensual confinements. They might laugh and jab and poke fun at these displays of anguish in private service and assure each other that they are fake and the actions of an insincere manipulative monster. Nothing will ever silence their mocking cries. Tears and tongues from their leering and libidinous mouths convince them to feel compassion or understanding or sympathy for those that they view as others and not them and not belonging. Until the slasher was born from their misconceptions with bloody mouth and to dribble upon them the words of those shunned, ignored, buried, and left to die. Not a voice of voiceless, not an eloquent speaker through clearer words may escape this bloody mouth, but a broken radio spewing the dying thoughts and feelings of those who never had hoped to exist amongst the people they carved to connect with. A confirmation with intentional provocations upon the boundaries of normal individuals terrified and clutching their sheets at the thought of someone with a blue patriot demon interacting with them. Not a kindness, not a redeeming entity, not a guardian angel, not a hero or being of justice, but a violence that directs itself upon anyone everyone it encounters should it feel the pettiest reason to do so. It may have tender moments, quiet minutes, things that appear to be kindness, perhaps are kindness, but the slasher is like a storm in that any bleak in the clouds which allow sunlight to filter through are but small glimpses of someone else. In her pocket, not the one on the outside, but within her rib cage lies the photo of Jane Perel, which was when she was happy, the beating heart of the slasher that flimsy motivates her every wrath step mixing into the violence as a subtle red hue. But to say it is part of me is my heart, my sacred kindness, my redeeming feature, or my true nature, that would be wrong. I am just a slasher, killer of relationships, murdering of people, clever of friendships, compassionate of the deranged ramblings of rejected personhood. There is no will be no saving this place, no saving Penny M. Relationships and friendships through it admittedly wonderful, though admittedly wonderful, will be better off not existing at all. I think I'll go somewhere dark, somewhere alone, somewhere where nobody can see my face, where relationships are not even a concept and the idea of friendships have never been proposed. A world of darkness that will never claim to love you and can never hurt you. A senseless void in which no pain is had. I'm done. That was a lot to take in. And I think the place that she's going to is the void in the Stars in Blue where Slishy Slasher went to before being saved by Mrs. Wink or Slink, I'm sorry. I'm getting everybody's names wrong. So guys, this is JT signing out. I've got a couple more things to go over, but after that, we're calling it a video. So, see you guys next time.